Okay, I think we're live. Hello,
Hello.
everyone. And thank you so much, Caleb, for coming on. This is Caleb Goh, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
And I always say round of applause, but we can't hear you, but that's all right. Thanks for tuning in. And again, if you're on the Facebook page, make sure that you click on the YouTube link so that you can chat to us and we can see you on the chat and we can interact with you as well.
Cool.
Cool. So congratulations, Caleb, for being a doctor right now.
Yay, thank you.
What was that process like? Just really quick. I mean, how do you feel? How did it all happen for you?
To be honest, it was really exhausting. I mean, when I discovered that I really love teaching, that's when I wanted to take it further and kind of go into university and really just focus on that. And so I decided to get my PhD. Now, in case any of you are asking,
Not in medicine.
Not in medicine, yeah. So in case anyone has a need for anything in an emergency, on a flight or something, I cannot help with any of that. I can sing and dance for you. That is about it. My PhD is in musical theater. So that's what I was doing. And I love it because it's all about the researching different aspects of musical theater and different things about the historical aspects, about fights for freedom in different enclaves and racial prejudice towards certain things when it comes to injustice in musical theater casting or different things like that. So it's a lot of fun. I have a good time researching all that.
Wow, that's excellent.
And I finally officially got my doctorate as of November 6th, 2015. So yay!
Another round of applause! Yay!
Thank you.
It's rare because Caleb does not live here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He still has a very close association to Singapore, of course. He comes in every once in a while to do shows and stuff. But I just thought it would be a great opportunity to have you on the show because it's just so special that you are here and free. But he is working right now on a show called Crazy Christmas, which a lot of our other guests are in. Actually, you're a little bit off. Do you want to scoot in?
Shall I move in a little bit like
bit?
this?
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah,
Is that better?
That's good.
Okay, cool.
Just tell us about that before we launch into the the program proper. Like, how has that been for you? Is it fun?
It has been amazing. I mean, okay, I was contracted for the show a while back, and it's been so much fun. Dream Academy, which is the company that Crazy Christmas is part of, and Selena have been trying to get our schedules to kind of work out for the past few times to kind of see whether I can join in the fun at Crazy Christmas, and I've only been able to make it this time round. And yes, I have left and I no longer live in Singapore, but I decided this is the perfect time to just come back and really rejoin my theater family. It's people that I've grown up in the industry with for the past 20 years, and so
it's like we were saying, these are the older, all the young ones are in the pantos and the beauty worlds, right?
Yes,
these are the older people doing.
Basically, we were the ones that were teenagers at the time when all your Ben Kings are kind of teenagers.
You were the Ben King. I mean, back then.
During then, but in the 90s, so it was a long time ago. But so it's really fun to reconnect with everyone and just have a good time. Doing what we do best, and that's entertaining, whether it's in skits, in songs, in dramas, dancing, or just talking to the audience, because the audience is right there. You can look at them, and it's really fun to see this whole family that I've grown up with and to play with them. It's just like Christmas. Coming to the theater every day is like unwrapping a present and saying, "Look, this is fun. Let's do it again."
Yep. So Beauty World and Emperor's New Clothes has closed. So now the only actual local show, perhaps that's I don't know. There might be. One of the local shows that is still going on is Crazy Christmas. So do catch that. It's playing until
the 19th, which is we have basically 1 week of shows, and it closes on a Saturday. I know a lot of theater shows close on Sunday. This one does not. So it actually runs all the way till Saturday, the 19th of December 2015. But we've actually added one extra show on a Saturday matinee at 3 p.m. because a lot of the tickets for all our performances have been sold out. So we are really encouraging people to say we've opened up one more show. Really try and catch us. And have a festive time with us during this Christmas season.
Right. Awesome. I almost feel like I don't know my industry well enough. Were there other shows that you're going to say that were still playing, or
no, actually, because
right? It's not that.
Yeah, because you're right. All the major shows that you mentioned, you do have your facts right.
Okay.
All of them they have just officially closed this weekend. Many of them, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know any other local ones from some of the major companies I remember that are still running things, but I'm sure there are a few more experimental works, or there could be a lot of projects that are device pieces or different things like that are actually still running, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, there are other things like like Inside Out Singapore and the National Gallery has opened and things like
fabulous.
that.
That's fabulous. Yeah.
All right, so to start off with our health, because we go through health, technology, and entertainment. So to start off with health, we're gonna start with the game that I usually play with everyone. With most people. Do you know of this?
No, I don't.
Most of our guests haven't actually watched the show, but that's all right. So it's this game called Bean Boozled. If you're watching it for the first time, what happens is we choose a color, and then we'll both hold the color, and then when we say go, we pop the color in. The only difference in the flavors is that there's one good and one bad. So if you pick, like, for example, blue color, you could either be eating toothpaste or berry blue.
Okay.
Right? So we've got 3 in a row here. So we're going to do that before we start talking about food and stuff.
Okay.
You ready?
All right.
And you can have your drinks on standby. Okay. So let's pick the first color we see. Choose.
I'll take a pink.
Okay, pink. So I'll get the pink as well. So the pink, if you're ready, is going to be, we're going to do this really fast. It's either Stinky Socks or Tutti Frutti.
Okay.
Ready?
Here we
1, 2, go.
I got Stinky Socks.
I got Tutti Frutti. How bad is it? I never get to taste the bad ones. Is it really bad?
It kind of tastes like my socks. So I guess
your socks. Okay. All right. Next one. If you want to wash it down, you can have a drink. Let's do the green one.
What is this? Green?
Okay. So it's either going to be, this one's been done before, booger or juicy pear.
Oh, really?
Really?
Why,
Yes,
Dwayne?
really.
Why? I got pear.
I got booger.
pear.
It's nasty.
I got pear. But I didn't know for a while. I thought it was
Because
a
boogers
booger
kind of
that tasted a little
pearish.
a perry booger.
All right. Last one. This one's not so bad. It's either toothpaste or...
Really?
Wait, let me see. What was it? No, it's baby wipes or coconut.
Oh. Okay.
Oh my gosh. I got coconut.
I got baby wipes.
How bad is that? How'd you know?
It tastes a bit like lychee.
No, actually, I got baby wipes. It's like minty, right?
Mine. It tastes like lychee. It tastes a little minty. It's not bad at all, actually.
It's not bad at all.
Yay!
Yay to baby wipes.
Let's have baby wipes all the time. I'm gonna wash the booger down with a little bit of them.
Okay. All right. Meanwhile, this is not new, but just to in terms of as a topic. So there's this thing of groceries being delivered to your home right now. It's a little bit into the technology aspect of things as well. I guess you can shop online for groceries. So just curious, with this piece of news, what you think about it? Do you subscribe to it? Have you done it at all? What do you think? Do you think it works? I know our friends Ed and Joe were in a grocery ad together as husband and wife. Anyway.
Yeah, it was a very cute ad. I've not done it in Singapore. I know there's places like foodpanda.com, I believe, that do it. And I sustained an injury a month ago, and everyone was suggesting, you know what, I know you can't walk out to get food. I think it's a perfect way to be able to say, you have a whole list of places you can choose from, and then they have like stuff that you feel like you want Malay stuff, you want nasi lemak or you want mee rebus or something like that, and you can actually order them. They're from different places. You can have steak even, you know, so it's pretty cool. I've only done it once, and I've done it in Australia. Haven't done it in Singapore, and it comes delivered right to your door. And it's super fresh. It's really good, and I think it's a great way to do it, but it does make people lazier.
It does, right? Like, we were just talking about this in with Julian about in WALL-E. If you saw WALL-E the movie by Pixar, it's like these fat people were just like, they're just so lazy. But how about groceries? Would you do that though? Groceries?
I did that in Australia as well, but my thing is still, why can't you just go to the store? I will understand if you're super busy, and you have no time and you have kids, and that's why you really just want it to be at your door. But apart from that, I'm like, it's always good to be a little more active. And in Singapore in particular, come on, isn't there a grocery store or a cold
Around
storage
the corner, right?
around every corner,
Yeah.
even if you live in Punggol? And I swear by that because right now I'm living in Punggol, so yes.
Right. Well, for me, I want to be able to choose my apple. I'm not going to trust somebody to pick my apple for me, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your favorite food place in Singapore? Okay, and
place.
since you also live in the States, maybe you get to say 2 favorite food places.
Food place like a chain or a type of food that I go for?
A type of food that you go for, which could belong to a chain or just a roadside store that you can recommend to our wonderful viewers out there.
Okay,
right
this
now.
this one I would love to share with all of you. Not many people know this, but my favorite food is satay bihun, and it's getting harder and harder to find. Not many food courts, not many hawker centers actually offer it, or if they offer it, it's what I consider a substandard version. Now, what
Right.
I like in my satay bihun is that at the end, when you've finished eating, it's still very nong. What is that word? It's very creamy and
You're talking to another ABC type here.
it's totally creamy and it's not watery. It's not watered down.
Right.
And the place that has it is Mei Hua Food Court, which is next to Republic Plaza in Raffles Place MRT. And
Mei Hua Food Court next to Republic Plaza at Raffles
has the
MRT.
best $5, only one price, $5 satay bihun with a lot of hum, a lot of liver, a lot
Nice.
of seafood. And the creamy peanut sauce is just slathered on. He does not scrimp on it at all. Just goes
Nice.
splash.
So you're going back for a round definitely before you leave, right? I'm sure.
Yeah, totally. I love it.
And then in the States,
Okay.
I'm gonna do this because we forgot the light.
Oh,
So
okay.
slightly better.
Is that better?
Yeah, it is slightly
Okay,
better.
cool. Yay.
Yay,
In
like-
the States, the one place that I love is called Santuka Ramen, and you can actually find it
Wow.
here
Where?
as
In-
well.
Really?
I believe you can find
Were
it
you
here.
surprised I'm sure you were surprised to see
Yes,
it.
but I do think that they make their own ramen, and their broth is stewed for like a day or so, and it's so flavorful, and it's really inexpensive for ramen. You know how in ramen in Singapore is about $15 to $20? Over there it's about $8 US, and amazing. The what they call char siu.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you spell
Char siu lah.
Okay, all right.
It's just char siu, but it's just so luxurious. It's soft. It's just, and the onsen egg is actually onsen. It's done in a particular way, so it's not just a boiled egg,
Right.
but they kind of poach it in a particular way, so it's kind of creamy and there's a silky film on it. So oh my gosh, I'm already watering just thinking about it. And I had dinner, so yeah.
Yeah. And so, where is it in Singapore? Do you know? Not sure, right?
I do not. I think
Okay,
you're gonna
look
have
it
to
up.
Google it, but
All right.
I did
How do you
think
spell
that
it though,
was
so that we know how to look it up?
SANTOUKA ramen. Santuka ramen.
Santuka ramen, guys. All right. And so speaking of being in the U.S. and Singapore, let's maybe talk about this now. So you've lived between Singapore and the U.S. quite a bit, different parts of your life, right? Like, so yeah, the just brings to mind this question of home and what is it? Because I've done a bit of that, but I've definitely stayed in Singapore longer, so I think home still is Singapore. But for you, how has that, for the lack of a better word, messed up your concept of home?
Well, okay. Well, for starters, I was born in Singapore, but I moved to Washington D.C. when I was 5. So, that sense of identity on what is your the basis of where you return to was something a little foreign to me. So by the time I came home and I was in late primary phase, I was a little bit discombobulated. I didn't really know. And beyond that, I've spent the last 11 years in California before moving back to Singapore in 2013, before upping and leaving again. And in California, I lived in 8 different places, 8 different
Gosh.
rental or homes that I bought. And in Singapore, from 2013 to 2015, 2 years, I actually lived in 6 different locations. So
wow.
So the idea
Yeah,
of
so
home
the-
is not, let's say, Holland, where I kind of grew up in my teenage years, Holland
Right.
Village, I mean, or but
So what is your idea of-
or in San Diego, where I lived, it's not Hillcrest. I think my identity, when I think about where home is, it's being with the people that you love. I think that's most important, because unlike other people who know exactly where they come to when they land, when they come back to Singapore, they know, okay, I'm going back to Payo, I'm going back to my family. For me, it's never been that easy to define.
Right.
Also because my parents don't live in Singapore
Right.
like other Singaporean families. So our nucleus has always been a little bit more spread out. So yeah,
Right.
so I think it's the loved ones, and loved ones not necessarily means your parents. It could mean the person you're married to. It could mean your partner. It could mean a close community of friends that
Right.
always have your back. And I think I have all the things that I aforementioned.
Right. In both
Yeah.
places.
Actually, I do in both places.
Right.
Yes,
So
I
both
do.
places feel like home to you. I
They
guess.
do. They do. And if you're actually forcing me to make a decision which one feels more like home at the moment, that's a really difficult question. But I think because my significant other is currently in California, so
So it feels like
that
you're
definitely
away
feels
from
more
home.
like home at the moment. Yeah, at
Right.
the moment. But when we're both together in Singapore, then Singapore still feels like home. So yeah, it's really
Yeah.
where your heart is. Yeah.
Right. And what do you feel like advice to people who like maybe kids out there or younger ones who are interested to study abroad or even find a career elsewhere? What advice would you give them in terms of settling in? How would they make their home feel home?
Well, the first thing I would say is when it comes to advice on studying abroad, when it comes to Singaporeans, do it. And the reason why I say that is because I think that a lot of us in Singapore are a little bit sheltered, and we always stay,
yeah.
with our families, right? And we don't give ourselves a chance to gain our independence. I think that's really important. But when you go abroad, be prepared that there are things you need to know. You need how to rent, you need how to get social security, you need to know how to pay
Set
your
up a
bills,
bank account, or
exactly,
phone account,
pay taxes, and that
do
includes
laundry.
do laundry, cook. You've got to do all these things because unlike not many places are as convenient as Singapore, where you can literally walk down from your HDB flat and buy food for $4.
Yeah.
I was about to say $2, but you know what? We're not in the 80s anymore. But you literally can do that. But over there, I mean, if you walk out of the place where you live, yes, you can buy something immediate, but it'll probably cost you like 20. So
Yeah, no, we're seriously pampered here. I mean, I know it's everything's so clean. You don't see the rats that you see in the New York subways. You can find a trash bin on every corner of the street. Whereas I find myself carrying my trash around sometimes because it's just not as convenient.
yeah,
in the States.
but I do have to say it's a great learning curve, and you will be so proud of the journey that you make as you learn how to become an independent person, even when you make that trek or return to Singapore after that.
Right. So of course, as you know, Caleb is an educator as well, and we were talking a little bit about studying abroad and everything like that. But we definitely like to hear a bit more about arts education and your thoughts and things like that later on in the episode. So that's just there. But let's get to technology now. Caleb says, I don't know, but we all deal with it. So more than we think we do. So anyway, first up, this is just a so we do bits of news feature as well. So did you know, guys, that when you watch YouTube these days, the next video always plays now, right? If you watch
it does.
At the
It
end of
does.
the video,
Yes,
it
does.
skips to the next video and it just plays. So if because I meditate, sometimes I play a nice little soothing meditation video, and then at the end of it, something else comes up,
Yes.
which is usually related, so usually not so jarring, but I still get jarred because I'm supposed to be done with the. So did you know that you can actually turn off that autoplay on YouTube? So it's just advice for you guys. If you go onto the top right corner of the video, you'll see a tab that's just turn autoplay off. So just make sure you turn it off, and you will not ever have to deal with the next video again. However, I have to say that Facebook, if you've just in the last 2 days, have you noticed? They've started to autoplay the next video as well.
I have not noticed that.
Yep. So
Okay, I've been too busy to be on Facebook that much
Yeah.
to stream things, but that is interesting. But why do they do that?
it's to encourage more traffic. It's to encourage more viewership,
Okay.
which in turn probably leads to branding and advertising. That's my.
Okay.
So the more videos they play, the more ads they can squeeze in.
I'm sorry, that's a little sneaky.
But yeah, so just so you know. Duat Peng is saying something. Let's read what she has to say. Hello,
Okay.
Duat. Thanks for watching. You can turn off the autoplay though. Yes, exactly, which is what we said. Duat is very technologically advanced.
I know, and I saw her in the front of last night's Crazy Christmas show. She was right in the front with her camera, and so hello, Duat. It's good to see you. Oh well, good to hear from you, I guess.
Yeah. And so the other thing was, when has technology served you or when has it hindered you? Like, can you think of a funny instance or something that has happened? Have you been trapped somewhere, or has a photo gone out that you didn't want to, or like whatever? I don't know. Like, how has that helped? And
Actually, I love technology. I mean, I as much as I complain about how sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, but a lot of the time I love technology because particularly with the Apple iCloud, I love
not Dropbox, the Apple iCloud.
Yeah, I mean, I love Dropbox too, but I love how everything gets synced everywhere. So because of that, I can make an appointment on my iCal and it gets synced onto my iPad, my iPod even, my iPhone, and on my laptop. So I never have to fear that I'm going to miss an appointment because it all syncs everywhere. And it does it really, really automatically. And so that has been a great lifesaver for me, and it's a life changer because growing up, I'm a lot older than I look, but
we both are.
Yeah, and I growing up, and Dwayne will know this, we kind of grew up with pagers, so it was very. It was I mean we didn't have the technologies to say we want to. We can record our calendars and stuff like this in a particular place, and it will get if we forget to bring it, we still remember where it's going to be, whereas whenever we bring one device, we know everything that we have.
It's amazing. And even when you switch phones now, all your passwords, for example, with Apple go along with it. So if you walk into a zone with a Wi-Fi that you've entered a password before, you would get your Wi-Fi without having to enter it again.
Exactly.
It's amazing that way.
Yeah.
However, it's so that's helped you. But I know for me, like there was once where I was syncing my phone to my computer, and then I think it synced backwards where it was empty on my computer and then all the files on my phone got erased because it thought I wanted to sync that way. Mm-hmm. Has anything like that ever happened to you?
Actually, no, because it almost did, but you sometimes have to read it super carefully, and I read it super carefully, and I went, it's gonna respond this way if I tick this box, so I need to not, and so you need to understand when it comes to technology which is the motherboard or whatever, where the mothership, and that everything always has to respond to the mothership and not reversed. So once you reverse it, then the chain of command goes topsy-turvy, and that's when you kind of lose things. But once you understand that concept, I don't think you can go really wrong with it.
See, you sound like an expert all of a sudden.
Maybe I am.
Even though Dwight says like, why all the guests have the same reaction on technology, and then now you're like just going on and on about.
Okay, maybe I'm a doctor of technology now. I'm gonna claim that. No, I'm kidding.
But so you've never had a hard disk crash, or have encountered, you back up all the time?
I have had a hard disk crash, but I always back up. And guys, always back up. It happened to Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City. It could happen to you. You always have to back up. And I want to say, a lot of people back up every day. I don't. I confess I back up probably once a week. But I mean, if you have a heavy flow of influx of new material, I would say that's when you really want to back up. If not, do it once a week, and it
for you it's important because you write papers and things like that, and so
I write a lot of research papers, so yes, for sure.
Right. Have you accidentally sent the wrong text or picture once anytime?
No, but I've done embarrassing things like sending a multiple job application and not changing the name, so it goes to something sent to like San Francisco State University goes to San Diego, and it's like you can't
take it back. I wish they would create that where you have the right to take it back sometimes.
I know.
Because,
I wish so too.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And we'll talk about TV and all these kind of things now that we're talking about it later on. But now, actually, it's related. This next topic here, video streaming services. And I would say we're both quite big TV buffs, right?
Yeah.
We talk about TV all the time. Even when Caleb's away, we'd be WhatsApping each other. See, using technology again to talk about the latest episode of this and that. What do you think about these streaming services? Do you use any of them? There's Netflix now, there's Apple TV, there's Amazon has a new channel even, YouTube Red's coming up. It's not available in Singapore yet, but you'll get it in the States.
Very cool.
YouTube Red, and then YouTube Music is part of that as well, so you can play videos and turn off the video and put the music on instead of the video, and they save playlists, and then they have recommended covers or original and like performance on stage kind of thing. It's amazing. All this is coming up, and then there's even Broadway HD. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I have. And that I'm super excited about.
Yeah, but the collection so far is not great. I've looked on the website. It's just like your standard musicals, and even then, not many. So it's not like anything, like you won't get to watch something like Fun Home, or I'm getting a bit geeky now, so if you don't understand, these are some of the latest musicals that are playing on Broadway right now, like Fun Home or Finding Neverland. You won't get that yet, but don't you think it would undermine the ticket sales and the like the newness of a show?
Well, okay, when we're talking about Broadway HD, I mean, I think that one is a double-edged sword. I mean, it's a pro and con. Yes, I do think it might undermine ticket sales, but it also reaches out to a broader community than the Broadway community when it comes to musical theater. Musical theater, as you know, is already an esoteric field. So because of
Yeah.
that, I think what we need to bring more audience in ultimately is to be able to expand it to the masses. So they go, oh my gosh, I never knew that Fun Home, let's list that. I never knew that Fun Home was actually so provocative and something that I am interested to explore. Now I would like to see it live. And I
Yeah.
don't think that would be possible for someone who's never had access to the Great White Way or has never gone even into a theater. But suddenly you're able to stream it right into your home.
Exactly. So the people that would have never bought a ticket basically would be they would be aware of the fact that there are these things that exist and would take an interest. So hopefully you bring more bums to seats.
Absolutely. And as for other streaming devices, I mean, I love them. I think it's a great way. Netflix is wonderful. The one I love, but I don't know whether they have it here in Singapore, is Hulu. Do they have it here?
They don't have it here, but I
okay.
think like if you buy like a PlayStation or something like that, they usually come with it. I
Okay,
don't know
yeah.
about the intricacies of like setting up an account and things like that, but that's also a technological thing, right? So so a lot of people set up US credit cards to be able to buy stuff on iTunes, for example, because the iTunes store in the US is different from the iTunes store in Singapore. Can you have you had an experience with that where you've used your US credit card, for example, to your advantage where other people couldn't?
Well, okay, I have to confess, I don't have a Singapore iTunes account at all. So
Right.
I don't know what is offered on the Singapore side, but if there's one thing that I do miss is there is, I would believe, a considerably smaller collection of Mandarin music
Right.
in the iTunes store in America. I only have an iTunes US
Right. Okay,
store.
so just to clarify, the iTunes account is one account, but to access the stores, all you have to do is switch your address within the account. So you access different stores, and that's all you do. You just switch your credit card, and you access a different
But
store.
don't you need to have an American credit card to
You-
have a US?
Yes, you need to have an American credit card to access the US store.
Right,
But your
right.
account is still the same. So you don't need to change your account. You just have to switch your address between credit cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then you have
Okay.
access to different, which is what I do.
I
to
did not
get
know that. I
stuff.
always just go on the US one because I've had the US one for actually as long as I've had technology. I've
Right.
had always a US one. Yeah.
You're very lucky. You're very lucky. Oh, I'm lucky too. And it's quite amazing. I just have to talk about musical theater albums. There are actually a lot of not so common ones now on the Singapore store, which is very very. I'm surprised.
You mean
can
like
get-
Fun Home?
Yeah, you can get it on the Singapore store, for example, or even like an artist like what's her name, like Judy Kuhn or something, who has an album. You can just buy it on the Singapore store. So it's becoming more available, which is
That-
really really good.
That's really great. I mean, they are expanding. I mean, iTunes US took a while as well, but now they even have like Telly Leong. When Telly Leong, Asian Broadway star, releases something, they have it. They have Lea Salonga's collection, and not only her her Disney stuff or her Broadway stuff, but they also have a few selections from Philippines. You know,
Right.
her solo Filipino albums, and I think that's really cool to be able to have that accessibility. I feel like with technology, it just makes our world shrink. It gets smaller and smaller and
Yeah.
smaller, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. There's good and bad with everything, sometimes it might be too close for comfort for in terms of other things, but generally it's very good. Okay, cool. So now let's move on to the more exciting thing where we go into entertainment, where we can talk about TV. Let's do a bit of that because I can feel we're gonna overkill on the TV. So we'll do a bit of that first, and then we'll play a game.
Oh no, I don't want a booger game again.
No more booger games, and then after that we'll talk about some more TV
Okay.
series that are okay. So let's talk about what are you watching now, Caleb, and what do you recommend?
Okay. All
So I
right.
don't need my script for this. I can just like I don't need my notes. I'm just like I'm ready.
Well, I'm actually watching American Horror Story Hotel, which is the very
Season
first
5.
season 5 is the incantation of American Horror Story, which is an horror anthology series that changes locations every season but uses the same cast in different roles. And this season we are introduced to a lead role played by Lady Gaga, and she is actually excellent, and congratulations to her on her Golden Globe nomination for this particular role. So
Wow.
it's a really good series, and it also has a lot
Cheyenne
of
Jackson's in it, is he?
Cheyenne Jackson is in
Cheyenne
it.
Jackson,
Matt
yeah.
Bomer is in it. If you
Right.
if you know who Matt
Cheyenne
Bomer
Jackson's
is.
from musical theater in general, like so.
Yeah,
So
and Matt Bomer is from White Collar, the TV series, as well as a few other things, and he's a Ryan Murphy favorite as well. So
Right.
so it's been fabulous to watch. Angela Bassett is. Anything that comes out of her mouth is just pure gold. So,
Right.
so it's great.
And speaking of Ryan Murphy, who's the creator for this series, and also for Glee, and also for Scream Queens, which we follow, which you recommended, and now I'm hooked on it, and I just finished watching season 1, but I haven't heard that there's going to be a season 2. Is there going to be a season 2? It's sort of in the air right now, right?
It's in the air, but they have not actually released any information on whether they are. It's gonna happen. I am not sure at the moment. It could go either way, but I don't think the announcements will happen until the start of next year, or maybe February or March. And the reason for that is because sometimes they allow series to breathe before they do a whole overhaul, unless it's so monumentally bad that it gets cancelled after like 2 to 3 episodes, which does happen.
Yeah,
but Scream Queens was allowed to play out its full 13 episode series, which was what it was purchased for. They didn't extend it. They
Right.
didn't cut it short.
Okay, do you know what's going on? I'm really confused now, because usually when you have a series, it goes, all series start at the same time and they sort of finish at the same time, and then there's like a mid filler kind of season also where there are a different string of other series, right? But now it seems like Superstore has just started out of nowhere. It's like not in sync with the. What is going on? I have no idea. What is the new? Is this a new thing?
Here's what's happening. As we've moved away, it used to be such that when it came to popular TV shows, Thursday was your prime slot. You really wanted to shove your shows on Thursday between 8 to 10 p.m.
Okay.
And that was where CBS, ABC, Fox, CW, and NBC, they all would shove all their shows into that prime slot. And famous shows that have gone in that slot are shows like Desperate Housewives, CSI, Friends, things like that, where
Right.
we all know them and we love them. But what's happened now, and we talked about this previously, was streaming. Streaming has come into play, and DVRing things. So when you DVR a thing, you can save it for later. So now there is no summer where people take off, and they don't want to. They're all going to travel, and they're not going to watch the show because practically nobody watches live anymore. I know it's sad, but nobody does, because we want to sometimes skip through things that are boring. I don't want to say commercials, but we want to skip through other things, and because of that, we want to watch it at our own time. So because of that, it doesn't matter anymore whether it's a Thursday, whether it's a Monday, whether it's a Saturday even. It doesn't really matter anymore, because people are still going to say, oh, it's on a Saturday at 8 o'clock. All right, I'll tape it and I'll watch it when I'm free. And it could be any time. It could be 2 a.m.
So in the same respect, the season can start anytime.
Anytime at all. Anytime.
Wow.
Yes, shows in general are still following. Main season shows from the five major networks still begin in the fall. And when we talk about fall, it's normally around the end of August, start of September season. It's all around there. There is also a mid-season pickup, which happens around January.
Right. That's when they go on break, and then they pick up.
That's when they go on break. And those shows would generally be big ticket items for a lot of major companies like The Voice, like American Idol, like Dancing with the Stars, stuff like that. But what's happening now is that sometimes if a show isn't as popular and they pull it early, they'll have a mid-season replacement for the show. Or sometimes they will just decide nowadays that, a show like Superstore, or another show that's just been released, which is a sitcom called Telenovela starring Eva Longoria.
Oh wow!
And it's hilarious.
Is it a spoof of all the?
She is a star in a Mexican soap opera, but she's hiding a big secret, and she can't understand Spanish at all, and she's the lead of it all.
Oh my gosh!
It's completely completely in English. It's funny. She has a gay best friend. It's who's always scared about his job security. So when
because
he
he
sees
plays a straight guy, right?
no, he plays a straight guy, but he's gay in the TV in the story. And when he realizes when he panics and thinks that the producers are gonna fire someone, he immediately rips off his shirt, shows his six pack, and says, "Oh, this is job security," the type of thing.
Yeah.
It's super funny, and it's also a mid-season, and it just began. Last week, and it's very strange that they're doing all this, but now anything goes. One thing that they do adhere to still is major holidays. So when it comes to major holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, Chinese New Year unfortunately doesn't work for them, but
unless
those,
you're in fresh off the boat. I don't know if that
maybe,
no, who knows?
Maybe
Black Friday was even featured in Scream Queens.
Yes, exactly.
Which is,
and when it comes to those major holidays like Halloween and all that, they will actually show the episode a little before Halloween. They show the Christmas episode a little before Christmas, and then Christmas and New Year, there's practically no major new episode. There are no new episodes for it. And then it'll come back during the season. For example, a show like Once Upon a Time, you'd expect, okay, it's taking the Christmas break, it's taking the New Year break, and it should come back in January. It does not. It actually comes back at the end of March.
Really?
So,
March 6th from what I
March 6th then. So it's already, you never really know when they're going to come back. But then when that happens, what takes its place? A show like New Girl begins at the start of January and didn't have a fall broadcast at all. So that is filling a gap where some other show is on break.
Right. Gallivant took over Once Upon a Time for a while, right?
Gallivant will be taking over as well during this time.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. So I know they're filming season 2. Sorry, we're going off on a tangent, but this is a TV segment. And of course, I just wanted to say, we have markers in the video. If you're watching this not live, which is very much more likely, you can check out the markers in the video description and skip to whatever you want to watch. All right, so we cater to you guys that way. But Caleb, how did you become so passionate? I had no idea you could answer that question. How did you how did your love for TV, because I mean you're more a stage guy, right? And you and even in the States, you're not like in the Hollywood circuit. You do more stage and education.
I do more stage. Yeah.
Where did this love come from? Not from wanting to be in it, obviously. It's just you just love watching.
Okay, you know how growing up we didn't get a ton of American shows. You had to wait for the show to arrive on Channel 5, or then slowly we got HBO and different things like that. And going back to America, I realized how the wealth of amazing shows that, okay, to be quite honest, amazing shows that don't come to Singapore. And because of that, I got obsessed, and I just kind of did my research, and I would give a show about a 5-episode chance of getting into it.
Wow, that's generous.
Yeah, and in 5 episodes, come on, you either like it or you don't. Sorry, Game of Thrones, I actually don't like you. So no, I'm not.
Loves it. I mean, it's one of those things that I don't know. I hope not to insult Game of Thrones, but I've been watching it for 4 seasons now. I still have the 5th that I haven't watched. It is very wordy, and it doesn't feel like there's a lot of action happening, but it's like one of those that I feel that because so many people rave about it and the production quality is so good that it almost feels like if I don't like it, then I am not part of the group, and I'm not sophisticated enough. So it's almost as if people find a reason just to say they like it, and they force themselves to watch, which is what I feel I'm doing.
Oh, I don't. I just gave up on it completely. I gave up on a Mad Men. I just thought, you know what? I like that it's so era specific, but it doesn't speak to me. But a show that I love is The Walking Dead. And I know a lot of people that love that show, and it is amazing. Maybe I do have a track record for liking a little more. I do have bloodlust when it comes to watching TV shows, but don't get me wrong, I'm not a Mccart person. I really am happy and sunny, like my smile. I really am. But I do love these shows because I feel like the stakes are very high, and producers really hook you in because you never know the situations the characters are going to get into and whether or not they will survive. I have to admit, the reason why I started The Walking Dead to begin with was that one of the leads was Asian. And I was like, oh, I want to support Asian actors. And so I did. And I just fell in love with the show. Yeah.
Did you also watch True Blood and enjoy it?
I did not, and no. I don't watch it.
But there's blood and there's lust and everything, right?
Like, I should love it. I just never really... I never gave it the 5-episode chance.
Right, I was just gonna
there
ask.
are truly too many shows out there to be able to embrace
I'm just
them all.
like, in my more free time now, I'm just trying to catch up on everything, and it's just a lot. I'm watching, let's say, I don't know if you're watching any of these, like Bates Motel's on hiatus, Devious Maids on hiatus, which you also recommended to me. I love it. Yeah. And then I'm watching Supergirl right now, which is actually...
I love it. I love it. It's a great show.
I didn't realize you were watching it.
Yeah.
Because it's a superhero thing, and I'm not usually into that, but it has... so much. So guys, like this is one of my recommendations actually. It has so much heart. Usually a series like that are pretty episodic, like especially with superheroes. It's just like one villain, in out, and the character doesn't develop. But this one, they've got an underlying progressive sort of plot going. The characters and information is unfolding slowly about what's really going on in between the villain per episode sort of situation, and that's very nice. It's got a lot of heart.
Yeah. They've actually done a good job with a lot of the superhero shows. I mean, Supergirl is particularly good, but I highly recommend, if you haven't started, do follow Daredevil, follow Jessica Jones, which is brilliant. And if you want more mainstream stuff, Supergirl is good, but in the same universe and from the same creators are Arrow, The Flash, as well as next season's very new, the Legends of Tomorrow, which will have a lot of the characters that appear in Arrow as well as the Flash.
Wow.
They're all good superhero series. That universe is getting larger and larger. It really is. Yeah.
Right. That's so... Where do you find all the time to watch these shows?
Okay, now that I'm in Singapore, a lot of the time, I'm traveling on public transport and the MRT and all that, and I have tons of time to have it on my iPad. I'm just watching this show as I go on.
Oh, you don't need that kind of... Like, for me, I have to watch it in a private, quiet space.
No, I don't need to.
Oh, wow.
Of course, I don't affect other people. I have my earplugs on, so that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll come back to more... We'll talk about Superstore maybe and what you think about it, and I'm interested to know. But let's play another game right now.
Oh, no.
We're all actors, and I just thought we've never actually done a bit of acting on our show, so I have a script here that we will cold read.
Okay.
Right, but since Adele's Hello, what's it called? Hello is so popular, I thought we would use it as a script, and we'll go as Singaporean as we can with it.
Oh. Okay.
This is unexpected for Caleb,
yeah.
right?
Crazy Christmas uses the song Hello as well.
Really?
So,
oh no!
So do come and watch it if you can.
Yeah. Okay, I hope it's different. All right, so we're just gonna do this cold. We're just gonna read this, and we're gonna just to each other.
And we want to do it as
Singaporean,
as possible,
or however you want to interpret it, but as Singaporean as possible.
Okay. Hey, hello, it's me. Hey, I was wondering if after all these years you like to me or not? To go over everything. They say that time really is supposed to heal, but I don't know much about this healing.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm in California dreaming about who we used to be. When we were younger and free, I've forgotten how it felt before the world fell at our feet.
There's such a difference between us, or not? And wow, it's really like a million miles.
Hey, hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for everything that I've done. But when I call, you never seem to be home.
Hello from the outside. At least I can say that I've tried to tell you I'm sorry for breaking your heart. But really, it doesn't matter. It clearly doesn't tear you apart anymore.
Hey, hello. How are you? It's so typical of me to talk about myself. I'm sorry. I hope that you're well. Did you ever make it out of that town where nothing ever happened?
It's no secret that the both of us
are running out of time.
So hello. Okay, hello from the other side. Look, I must have called 1,000 times to tell you I am sorry for everything that I've done. But when I call you never come home. You never seem to be home.
Hello from the outside. At least I can say that I've tried, right? To tell you I'm sorry for breaking your heart. But it don't matter. It clearly doesn't tear you apart anymore. Okay, I don't know what that was for, but that was it.
That was actually quite fun. Now, next time round, we have to sing it.
Okay, alright.
Hey, hello.
I have another game. I don't know if you guys want to see more games, but just let us know. But let's go back to TV, and then we'll talk about some arts education, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay.
But we might have time for another game. Oh, she loves it. Dwat saying thumbs up.
Yay!
Okay, so back to TV. Dwat, tell us what you watch and what you like. Have you watched one I recommend about the industry? Since you're watching Dwayne Smith's I would assume you're really interested in the industry and how it works. If you haven't caught it, it's an Amazon special. I think it's their first series called Mozart in the Jungle.
Oh, you were telling me about this.
I was, and you haven't seen.
I haven't. It yet. Bernadette Peters.
Bernadette Peters is in it, a legendary musical theater actress. It's a really good reflection of what is really going on. I think it's the most honest that I've seen so far about what our industry is about, as compared to things like Glee or Smash. Or it really has much more of that layer, of those layers that are not in Smash, for example. So I like that. You were gonna say?
No, I was just reading what Dot was saying, and
Oh.
and she watches a lot of Mandarin shows. You know, can I answer to that?
Oh, of course.
I grew up loving all the Channel 8 shows and just, you know, watching Xiang Yun and Zheng Huifeng and
me too.
and everyone. And what I would do, I'm like some super TV geek. What I would do is I would take a VHS. Yes, it was a VHS. I would take a VHS and I would tape all the starting pictures. You know what I'm talking about? Those opening credits,
Right,
where
which you can
they
find
have
on
the song.
YouTube now.
And I would tape everyone, and in each one, I would pick a character that I choose to be in
Right.
that show. And then when I had enough of those shows all accumulated, I would watch that VHS of all the opening credits
Oh
starting,
my gosh,
starting, and
wow.
I would pretend to be each character that I selected.
It's like
that
your
was
mixed videotape.
Yes, and that was exactly how I knew I wanted to be an actor, because I was always 欢喜啦. You know, I was always just trying to do all that type of thing. So,
Wow.
so that's cool. So I hear you. I love those shows. I don't have a TV right now, so I can't actually follow any of them. But I do miss them. I really do.
You know, I used to record these shows, and then because there were subtitles, right? So I would play them back, and then switch off the volume. I would play these shows back on TV and take my tape recorder and read the subtitles like I was dubbing it over in English. This is before they even dubbed them in English. And I would play the girl running or the guy like screaming at her, the girl, and then I would play it back with the video in sync and watch my own performance. It's the stupidest thing ever, but I had so much fun. And that's also how I knew I wanted to be an actor. It reminded me of that. Okay,
Very
so
cool.
so going back to more series, so I don't know what else. Bates Motel I really love, so I recommend that. Superstore, what do you think? It's the first episode that's just come
You
out.
know,
2 episodes, right?
I only
It stars
saw
America Ferrera, Ugly Betty's lead.
Yeah, I only saw the trailer. I've actually chosen not to follow that
Wow,
show.
okay.
Because I had to pick between that and telenovela, and I'm
Right.
sorry, but Eva Longoria gets my vote. She always does. And
Right.
it's super funny.
Is it a time thing?
Yeah, so I kind of had to pick because I follow a lot of other shows. I love reality shows. I know reality shows are the death of TV, but I
Not
love
much anymore.
I love Top Chef. I love Amazing Race. I follow a lot of those type of shows, and so I don't have that much time anymore. And I mean, I do watch other shows that are non macabre and not dark, so I still
Right.
follow like Modern Family and
Oh wow,
you
right.
know, and
Susan
stuff
Egan
like
is
that.
in Modern Family. I know. I saw her tweets.
Yes, she
about-
was.
She
She was in.
just
She was
briefly.
very briefly. She was in Modern Family, and I just saw Fresh Off the Boat, and a theater actress that played my mom in Singapore Repertory Theatre's Sing to the Dawn
Right.
in 1996.
Ria- what's her
June
name?
Angela. Her
June
name is June,
Angela. She's
and
in-
she played. She was in Fresh Off the Boat,
Wow.
playing the female lead, the mom's fortune teller that she swears by. And
Wow.
yeah, so that was pretty cool
That's
to watch
so
her. in
cool. I
that,
have a
yeah.
friend in that too. She plays Chelsea Crisp. She plays.
Chelsea Chris is amazing in that show.
She's-
Watch Fresh Off the Boat. I have friends who hate the show, but I love it, and it doesn't offend me at all. It's awesome.
Right. I only watched the first episode, but I intend to watch more.
It's very good. It's very good. Yeah.
Yay, cool. And then, so Superstar you haven't. I actually would recommend it. I like the first episode so
Oh.
far. Yeah.
No, you can't get me hooked on another show.
Well, you
I have
got
too
me hooked
many.
on so many shows. I've never actually recommended you a show aside from Mozart in the Jungle and this one.
And I haven't picked up any of
you
your
have
shows
to-
yet,
I
so
know
maybe
why,
I
what's
do have
going
to.
on.
Yeah, I know. I know.
All right. So yes, let's move on to arts education. I don't know. It's a huge different. That's why I always leave entertainment to the end. I think we forgot to put that in somewhere in the start. So, okay, shift gear.
Okay.
What has your experience been with arts education in the States, like versus Singapore? Do you feel that there's more to grow here, or I mean, students
Absolutely.
always start off the same. They're at the
Yes.
basic level, but in terms of the system, right?
Yeah. Can I talk about Singapore for a moment?
Yep.
Having been in the system and teaching in National University of Singapore as well as LaSalle as well as a little bit in SOTA,
SOTA?
I want to say that arts education is vital at this crux where we're really starting to become more creative as Singaporeans, and I think that's really important. But what's hindering it right now is that I personally feel we don't have enough local influence in arts education, and that is
Right.
vital, because I think that right now there's too much foreign influence, and I know that's ironic in the sense that we keep talking about American shows or foreign shows, but in truth, when it comes to arts education, I've been teaching a lot in musical theater. In the musical theater departments, we really do need more influence from local stuff. And I don't just...
What way do you mean? Like,
I mean like local educators who are passionate about what they do. Right. Also,
what's the difference though?
Teaching the history of local
right.
Local theater, teaching pride in local theaters, having all these practitioners and theater companies coming in and taking master classes to kind of get people really clued in on what the industry is like, and having pride in that. On top of that is also, for example, learning the Singapore speak. You can't just have all these, for example, all these LaSalle graduates. I'm going to talk about this frankly. You can't have all these local LaSalle graduates go out and all speak with an American accent or with an Australian accent or with a British accent. We also need to learn how to speak local. You really have to. You know what I'm trying to say is that a lot of the time there's no pride in that, and I think
right.
it is time. I mean, 1819 was when we had Sir Stamford Raffles, right? It's time we release the shackles of our post-colonial like bondage has to really be released so that we can really embrace the fact that we have amazing local performers, amazing local educators, and a wonderfully rich and textured, layered history that needs to be embraced so that our young know what it's all about and embrace it with pride and not just say, oh my gosh, I love musical theater, Cats, Les Mis, Phantom of the Opera. Yeah, but what about our Beauty World? What about our Fried Rice Paradise, our Forbidden City? There's so much great work out there, and people need to know it, not just our theater industry. If not, we're just preaching to the choir. And
right.
I think that's important.
But do you feel there are enough educators out there who are... I mean, there's this whole perception like, oh yeah, foreign talent's always more qualified because they're more experienced, they've learned from the masters, and here it's like, who are we? Do you feel that there are enough people here who can take on that responsibility to educate properly?
There are increasingly more people. I don't want to say we're there yet, but increasingly more locals are really stepping up. And I want to debunk that myth that foreign people that you hire and pay a lot more are better. They are not. They are not actually, because if you think about it, a lot of the people that do hire, and I'm not going to mention names because it's not really, I'm not thinking of anyone in particular. It's just there are people that come to Singapore because they are worshipped here, but it's also because they failed in the country that they're from. Right. Now, that is disturbing in itself, that you are actually being educated by a failed practitioner or failed educator, when in truth, you have people that are successful outside, locals that are successful outside, who don't feel welcome coming back because they're not given the opportunities when they really should be, because they are celebrated outside, and they should come back and have the opportunities to say, I have all this wealth of information and I am passionate to be able to share it with these young minds, and I will be able to inspire. Because when you go outside and you learn and you are educated, you come back wanting to impart it to other people, right. Not just saying, oh my gosh, it's a job and you know what, they worship me, so why don't I just do it? I think that's important.
Yeah, good points. And do you feel that the government is helping in terms of having local educators step up? Because right now, like for example, the rule is that you have to have a degree now, and so someone, say for example, who has a lot of experience would probably be cut out from that equation.
That's not necessarily the case. For example, that's not necessarily the case, particularly in the performing arts, because in the performing arts, there's a lot of emphasis on whether you have the skill set to be able to do it. It's not always about the paper degree. Of course, if you're teaching something like I did, which was thesis supervision and writing and research, you actually have to have paper qualification for that.
Right.
But
so it's not so that's a rumor I heard. It's not actually true that you have to.
No, but I mean, you have to minimally have a bachelor's degree in something, but it doesn't need to go beyond that.
Right.
But what's disturbing is that I don't think the government realizes that they still have too much pride in foreign talent when they need to actually strongly vet their foreign talent as well. There are brilliant foreigners that come in and work. No doubt about it at all. But there are also really, really crappy educators out there that are foreigners, that just go, oh my gosh, it's a job. I'm like, if you want to be an educator, you have best love your job. If not, you're going to ruin the lives of the future talents
True,
in
exactly.
Singapore.
It's such a responsibility, especially at that young age. I mean, it has to start really from school, from scratch. I mean,
Yes.
your drama educators all have to
Yeah.
know how to transition them
Yeah.
properly.
And a lot of the heads of the schools are either foreigners, or if they're locals, they are heads of the schools who are locals who say, oh, it's better to hire foreign talent. So they'll hire foreign talent.
Right.
When are we going to break this vicious cycle, Singapore? We can
Right.
only do this if we actually work together and go, oh my gosh, we actually need to say, you're a Singaporean, can you do this? Let's discover, or let's actually nurture you so
Right.
you're able to do this, so we can have pride in saying, Singaporeans, we have educators that can do this, and they brought our local people into this. Eventually, we
Right.
can even say these local educators brought these foreigners who decided to study in local schools
Yeah.
to great heights,
Which is happening,
regionally and
starting
beyond.
to happen.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
that
nice.
I think is the goal, and that is where Singapore needs to go when it comes to arts education.
Right. And one last thing. I mean, we have about 7 more minutes. See how time flies.
It does. I was worried at first, but it does.
Yeah, everybody worries. So my other question is, so how would you, like, who are vetting these teachers, and how can these people who are vetting, because I feel like they probably don't know how to vet. So what's happening there?
I think it's a vicious cycle, because when you address who the head is to begin with, normally the head is hired because they came from Australia, or they came from Europe, or whatever, you know.
Right.
But it doesn't go beyond what exactly did they do and over there, and were they really prominent, and even if they were prominent, are they jaded now, and that's why they want a different pace, you know,
Right.
or do they care enough to know what the Singaporean needs in education, and not just say, I'm going to imprint a prototype of the European standard onto Singapore. That's not what we need.
We can't work like that.
It needs to be catered to Singapore, and I'm sorry, but if students complain and say, why is it that we're learning local stuff? If you wanted to learn stuff about England, why don't you get your degree in England?
Exactly. Theater
It's
is
Singapore.
about community. It's about the voice of the community.
Yes.
Everything is about, like, you know, even if you're on YouTube, the channels that do well communicate with their, it starts with the locals first. So it's always that.
It does.
So yeah.
It's a vicious cycle from top down. That's what you were asking. Right? So and then when you have a someone who's from abroad in charge, they're going to start hiring more people from abroad because they don't
Yep.
trust that the locals can do it.
Yep.
Or if you have a local from abroad, or if you have a local in command, but they still haven't broken the mindset that, oh, we can hire locals. They kind of go, oh, let's just let's see what foreign talent we can kind of bring in, and that needs to break at some
Yeah,
point.
I think a good balance helps, because then you can collaborate and see what, you know, from both ends. You get a good mix of it if a good, you know, collaboration comes out of that.
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, I'm not dissing foreign talent in general. I'm just saying that there have been some monumental bad decisions made by in arts education in Singapore that need to really be rectified, and there have been some people that have been sorely overlooked because they just so happen to be born in Singapore, and I don't think that's fair to a community, because if you think
Yeah.
about it, if Europe loves their own people, and America loves their own people, and Australia loves their own people, why can't Singapore love their own people? Come on, you've got to
Yeah.
love your own people. If
Yeah.
not, where do we go? And the government wonders why people leave Singapore in droves. Come on, think about that.
Yeah. Cool. Really good stuff there. We should have put this at the front, but anyway.
Yay. Rip that into a small segment.
I
That's what
will.
say.
It's very important. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up with a game. One last game. So have a think about this. I want you to take something from your bag. This is how it's gonna work, right? Take from your bag, show it to them. I won't look at it. Not now.
Okay.
I can't see it, all right?
Okay.
Think about what you have in your bag that's fun, whatever. This is also like, you know, one of those features like what's in Caleb Goh's bag. But I'm turning it into a game where you, sort of like Jimmy Fallon. I think he plays this game where he describes an item
Okay.
to someone else. So you're going to describe it to me. You can tell me the truth or you can lie, but I have to figure out whether you're lying to me or telling the truth,
Okay.
right? So do you get how it works? You're going to show this item to the audience.
Mhm.
I'm not going to know what it is. You're going to put it back in your bag.
Okay.
And then you're going to describe it to me. You can describe it as a lie. You can tell the truth or you can lie, basically.
Okay.
And I have to figure out whether you're lying or not.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
So I'm not going to look. Show it to the audience really fast. I'm trying to hear what it is. Sounds like an umbrella, but I don't know. All right. Yeah. Are you hiding it back
Yes.
in your bag?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
you're gonna describe it to me. I'm just gonna watch you in the camera to see.
Okay.
Maybe this is more real. Maybe I should.
This item is yellow in color. It's fruity. It's uh it has a soft texture, and you can grip it like that.
Okay, so it's a banana. I think you're
Is it a
describing. Let me see if you're lying or not. Are you lying or not? I heard it chafing like it was plastic. I don't know. I heard some chafing noises that didn't sound like a banana would make. So I'm gonna say you lie.
Okay.
What was it?
Okay, I said it was yellow. It's fruity, right?
Okay,
And you can
oh.
hold it here.
Okay.
correct?
Oh, maybe yeah, because I said it was a banana, so obviously I made it. Okay, so I'm wrong. So
No, would you say that I'm bending the truth if I said it was yellow in color?
oh my
So you did say
gosh,
umbrella, but it's
I did say
fruity,
umbrella.
and you can hold it like that, right? And it's kind of soft in texture. Feel
You
it.
didn't lie.
So I didn't lie, but it was a banana, printed umbrella. So you were kind of correct too. So
Yeah, well, but I was wrong in that saying that you lied. Anyhow, that wraps it up. We usually play another game where you put on headphones and stuff, but we just run out of time. Is there any last thing you want to add before we wrap up?
no, Dwayne, I've had fun.
Yay,
this
that's
was a
good.
lot of fun. Yeah.
That's good. Cool. Okay, cool. And I just want to say this is the publicity spiel. If you're not already aware, we have a Facebook page which we post news on, and we talk about those news items on the show. So please like the Facebook page, Dwayne Spin Stop. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like the video. Give it a thumbs up. It'll help us in our ranking and it'll help us to reach more people. And if you want to follow Caleb as well, he is on Facebook and on Instagram.
On Twitter and on Vine and my
Wow.
yeah, I actually am.
You've got to give me all those details so that I can put it in
Well,
the video
it's
description below.
and it's the same username. It's Caleb CALEBY, which is my middle initial, and my last name Goh GOH. So that's CALEBY GOH. Caleb B Goh.
On Twitter, Vine, Facebook, and
And
Instagram. Okay, cool. Thanks, Caleb. Thank you
Yay.
so much for having me.
Thank
on
you
the
for having me,
I mean, sorry
Dwayne.
for coming on the show. It's
Yeah.
like having
We've
me
been
on the
friends
show.
for more than 20 years,
I
so
know.
this is awesome.
Yeah, and I always get my guests to do this. So you see the stop streaming. This stop streaming. Thing
Yes,
here?
yes.
Just click on it and
Okay.
just say goodbye before that.
Bye, guys. Thank you for having me.